Better You. I'm your host, Neeraj, and today I have a really good friend. His name is Sandeep. He's a global offering leader with one of the very big companies who helps customers, enterprises on their data and AI journey. So there's a backstory to it. How I met Sandeep. I was working for one of the startups, and as you folks know, I'm a huge fan of philosophy. So I reached out to Sandeep. I said, Sandeep, I need help. And the way I run my life, if you need help, you raise your hand and ask for help. Then the best thing is somebody's going to say, yes, I will help you. Or the worst thing is somebody's going to say, I'm not going to help you. And the life moves on. And then you keep asking for help from others. And then eventually somebody will say, you know what, Neeraj, I love the honesty. Let me help you out. And this is how I got connected with Sandeep. And today our topic is going to talk about data AI, mainly data modernization. And this is where Sandeep expertise is in that area. But before I go into the details of Sandeep and his background and his thought leadership on this topic, I just want to give you context that how important this data modernization key the word itself is, because we are in the space of Gen AI, we are in the space of AI, large language models, and I had a quick chat with ChatGPT, and I asked ChatGPT, "Hey, give me the idea about market size of data modernization," and it said that the global data modernization market was valued around 6 billion in 2023, and it's expected to grow over 20% from 2024 to 2030. So the point is the data volume is increasing because enterprises, they want to process more data to do more Gen AI projects, and in addition to that, cloud spending is also increasing. In 2023, global cloud spending uh, crossed $600 billion. And now the prediction is that by 2025, it's projected that 80% of the enterprises will have moved to more cloud centric data architectures. Now, that takes to the next thing is analytics investment. And by 2024, it is estimated that 70% of organizations will increase their investment in data analytics and AI, machine learning. But now the challenges, and I think this is where I'm going to have a broader conversation with Sandeep, that approximately 65% of enterprises, they see data modernization as a crucial component for their business growth. But the sad news is nearly half of the projects face challenges due to legacy system integration and data quality issues. And the idea here is that how we can address these challenges by understanding those challenges, and then how to increase the ROI as part of the data modernization and all the other initiatives that Sandeep and his teams are working on. So Sandeep, again, very excited to have you here. Let's start with your introduction, then we can start the conversation on data modernization.
Neeraj, thanks for having me. I've listened to a few episodes of Better You, and I love the authenticity and the messages that are driving, right? So, first of all, I'd like to say that I'm a huge fan of what you're doing. Thank you for having me. And it's a small world, as you said. If you don't ask, you don't get. So, I'm glad that you had made that initial connect. And to the listeners of the show, my name is Sandeep Upadhyay. I am the global offering leader at a large global service integrator organization. My job really is to identify the market signals, the trends, identify the white spaces, think about the problems of today and tomorrow, and create solutions that we then take to clients. So I think the famous quote by Wayne Gretzky that said that I want to be where the puck is going to be and not where it has been. So, in essence, that is what my job is, to identify what are the challenges that our clients are facing now and tomorrow, and how do we solve for them. And a large part of that comes in working with partners like the firms that Neeraj has been part of, and then the hyperscalers and so on. So, happy to be on this show and excited to share my thoughts.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned about the hyperscalers because there's going to be a aspect where we're going to talk about hyperscalers at the very detail level. So, Sandeep, let's talk about data modernization
Mhm.
itself. We have witnessed the evolution of the technology stack. We started so I think 1995, 1996, internet started picking up the momentum, and then democratization of internet happened. We all started using it. As we started using it, more data started creating, more data sets started coming out, and now to process all the data, to store all the data, the virtual machines concept came out, and then we witnessed how we moved from virtual machines to more container-based architectures, then container-based architecture to cloud-based, and then big data, Hadoop. All this technology started coming into the picture because to process all the large volume of data, and during that process, next thing was this whole generative AI piece on top of the cloud stack. Now, I think last 10 plus years, we as enterprises, customers, we have spent a lot of time and money just on figuring out how to do cloud migrations. And now the biggest challenge right now is the generative AI, because every CIO, CTO, every leader wants to figure out how can they lead the market with generative AI and AI applications. So the question I have for you, based on your experience over the last 10, 15, 20 years that you have spent in the cloud space itself, where do you see the data modernization playing a key role?
It's a great question, but I think if we look across the last 10-15 years, I believe we are in the third wave of data modernization. The first wave
Mhm.
of data modernization, it was geared towards solving computation on large volumes of data, right? That led to cloud repatriation of your data. So you had your data on your on-premise systems. You wanted to go ahead and put it on the cloud, be able to compute large volumes of data quickly and effectively, right? The second wave of data modernization came from digital, which is as e-commerce picked up and became all the rage, consumer experiences picked up and became all the rage. uh, Giving differentiated consumer experiences became the key goals of many organizations across industries. That led to the second wave of data modernization because everybody wanted to create omni-channel architectures, real-time decisioning, real-time customer notifications, and such capabilities out there. And that also led to a mind that also led to a shift in how we think about data, because earlier the architectures were geared towards batch data processing, and as we went to omni-channel, it went to real-time or near real-time data processing. Now, the third wave of data modernization is what we are going through now, which is with AI. Because if you want to do AI, yes, you can have your on-premise machines with NVIDIA chipsets, but to do it at scale, you need to have your data on cloud. And as clients are moving their data on cloud, they are figuring out that they also need additional foundational data management capabilities. So AI is really driving the a big bright light on data management and AI management, as well as data modernization capabilities. So I think that's what we are seeing now. Simple cases, a healthcare client wants to provide patient support for its blockbuster drugs, right? So when we think about patient support, it includes things like financial support, copay cards, being able to talk to a nurse, being able to get advice. These are all disparate services provided by different entities, but to bring them all together, unless you have a modern data platform that is powering these capabilities, it's going to be extremely hard for you to deliver those, right? uh, Same goes for
Yeah.
AI based capabilities as well. As clients are uh, including AI into their day-to-day operations, they are figuring out that they need to modernize their data and they need to have foundational data management capabilities.
Very nice. Sandeep, I am a huge fan of the Golden Circle, and I talk about this in a few of my episodes. So Simon Sinek, he talks about Golden Circle. He didn't invent it, but he actually publicly he talks about it. How it impacts the mindset when it comes to the word that you keep using. Need is the problem
Mhm.
statement. And so the word golden circle talks about that always start with why, then you focus on how and what. It's very clear that there is a need of data modernization, and then the next level of that to address that need is a data foundation. So once you build the data foundation, you are building the foundation to start building your applications and start bringing more users on the
Mhm.
foundation. Now the question I have for you, uh, the work that you and your team they have done on, let's say, in last 10, 15 years, if you have to highlight, let's say, top two, top three strategies to build that foundation and also to make sure that your customer enterprises they are on the right track as part of the data modernization effort, what would you suggest to the audience?
So when we think about these examples or outcomes that we have delivered, right, it all starts with the outcome in mind, the need, as you highly put it. For example, a large life sciences clients back in 2017, we were working with them to set up their first cloud data lake on AWS with all of their patient data. Now that data lake became the cornerstone of driving all of their patient support services. Now, with those patient support services, as this organization grew, as it did mergers and acquisitions, it got new products and new brands in there. Now, traditionally in life sciences, when we think about patient care, each brand or each drug does their own patient support separately. But in this case, we were able to create one cohesive platform on which all brands could have been onboarded. And as a result, the cost of care per patient was the industry leading for this particular client, right? Now, behind the scenes, we set up the right data foundation, we set up the right data pipelines, the operations, all the API based connectivity, application integration, etc. But this is a great example of how data modernization really helps in driving care and outcome for the client. There's a more recent one. It's not as big as the life sciences one, but for a very large elevator manufacturer, they were having challenges with proactive repair of their ball bearings that exist in the elevators as it goes up and down. So we created an innovative solution where you literally had iPhones on the elevators that would capture all the sounds of the elevator as it went up and down.
Nice.
We created machine learning models that defined and extracted the exact sound of what sound a ball bearing should make when it is in normal operations versus what sound it should make or it will make when it is not operating optimally. Using these sounds and capturing them in real time, we are able to predict which particular elevator needs maintenance and drive that through. Now, behind the scenes, there's a big ecosystem of data modernization that we've put together that drives this. But the average cost of that ball bearing repair, if you don't do it proactively, is greater than $2,000 per instance. And if you do
Well,
it proactively, is less than $45 per instance. So think about at a global scale, this particular manufacturer is there, and how much we are able to drive, right? So I think these are some of the examples, Neeraj, of the outcomes that data modernization has been doing. Now, for clients to do it effectively, a proper data foundation, good data management, and then modern data architectures is what is required to drive them.
brilliant. You know what, Sandeep, and this is actually, this brings to the another second segment of our episode. Sure. So what we established that the foundation, data foundation is important. On top of that, data modernization plays a key role. And I'm so glad you talked about some, client use cases. Question I have for you, challenges. So let's say I'm the user of the legacy
Mhm.
platforms. Now you are coming in, you're going to say, as a leader, you're coming in, you and your team comes in, says, you know what, Neeraj, we're going to actually replace the last 15, 20, 30 years of systems that you're using. And the moment you tell me the word replace, in my head, I'm like, oh my God, change
Mhm.
is coming. When the change is coming, people who are in the comfort zone, they get frustrated. They lose their comfort zone, or they're about to lose their comfort zone. So what they do is they push
That is
back on that
correct.
change. So three things I want to talk about in this topic, the change topic. Capabilities as part of the challenge. How do you guys bring those capabilities, address those capabilities, and also how do you guys address those challenges from the cultural point of view? When you are touching an enterprise, you're doing the data modernization project or executing the project. you have to go through all these
Correct.
challenges. So let's talk about that. Give some insight to the audience that how do you guys come in? How do you guys address those challenges using your emotional intelligence or your own strategies?
It's a multi-layered question, and it's a question that not everybody is able to solve very effectively. You've still got banks that are running COBOL code somewhere in, on their mainframes that's still waiting to be modernized. So I would say that it's not a problem that everybody has solved for it, Neeraj, but we have to think through the problem through multiple layers, right? So if on your adoption framework, there are forces, positive forces, negative forces. The positive forces are the allure of the future, which is what are the new things that the future is going to bring, right? The pains of the current, right? The need of the change is also a positive force. If the need is strong enough, it will propel you in that direction. So those are the positive forces. The negative forces, of course, are if you have challenges, the anxiety of the future. You don't know what's coming, right? My skill set, my talent, my tooling, I don't know about any of those, right? And the ways of working of the current. If you've created shortcuts, if you're comfortable in what you're doing, then that's also going to stop you from going to that. Now, for adoption and change to happen, the positive forces have to be greater than the negative forces. And I think when we approach a modernization problem, we look at it from all of these lenses and the forces, right? So, talent and skill set. So, for example, a client might come and say, I am using an ETL tooling of company X, and I've got 1,000 developers over there, and I want to modernize to say PySpark or something else, right? How are you going to take 1,000 people and immediately
Mm,
get them to learn a new technology? You can't fire them, but you have to gradually come in, right? So talent planning, that becomes a very big piece of the strategy. Doing the actual modernization is fairly simple. There are tools, technologies, techniques, very well laid out approaches to go ahead and do that. But talent planning, application planning, what are the big business things that you're doing that may have to be taken into account when you're modernizing, right? So when we come in and we advise the clients, we look across all of these lenses to get them done. And at the end of the day, clients want surety. They want the least risk. They want the fastest outcome, and obviously they want it to be a very cost effective exercise. One thing which is very important is there is a big shift from capex to opex that
mm,
is happening as you modernize to the cloud. Earlier your model was buy the big box, get the software, install it, use it, operate it. Now when you are going to the cloud, you are going into a consumption based model, which means that your expectations around what it should cost you now and later will change. And educating the clients around that cost component is a very big element of the modernization exercise. Another big thing around the modernization exercise is whenever there is a code migration or a code modernization, everybody wants to look at it from the lens of, is it doing exactly the same thing as what it was doing in the previous state? But nobody looks at the fact that this new piece of code, is it cost effective, right? If I run that same piece of code, will it run in the same time, and will it run it at the same cost? And many a times we are seeing clients miss out on that cost component and have challenges. So I think talent, skills, cost performance, capex to opex model, and then successfully migrating. I think those are all the areas that we come in and we look at.
Very good point. That actually reminds me, an incident happened a couple of years ago. So I went to see this leader in Vegas, and this person was traveling from Europe. We were supposed to have lunch, and but because of some logistic, he got a little late. So I was at the one of the resorts in Vegas, and so he and I, we only had 3 minutes to chat. We were supposed to have 3 hours to chat, talk about stuff. He said, Neeraj, I really have to get to this conference. And I said, sure, I will see you at the entrance. From the entrance to the convention center and gate is three
Mhm.
minutes walk. I say, in those, I just need those 3 minutes with you. So in those, Sandeep, so in those 3 minutes, I told him, I said, listen, I have a tool. it will help you with the data modernization effort. I have a solution for you, but it's not about that. Your biggest challenge is going to be the human
Right.
mindset, because if as a leader, if you can tell your teams that there's a new effort coming as part of the data modernization, there's going to be a new solution, new tool, as long as you can help them to understand from top to down, I think it will be very successful for you to bring this initiative uh, in execution. And touchwood, I got lucky, he understood in less than 3 minutes, and he started the initiative right away. But he said to engineers, people who were going to impact it, because I want to address what you just said. 1,000 developers are there. The moment you bring a new tool which can make them more productive, out of, let's say, 50% of those thousands, 500 developers, if they start feeling that they're going to get fired, then that overall impacts the morale of the team. So if the message is that, hey, listen, we're going to make you more efficient, and we're going to make you smarter doing what you're doing, and that actually, the conversation you're having from CapEx to OpEx, that also plays a huge role, because instead of buying that vertical solution, now you want to focus more on the horizontal solution, so you can scale up and scale down based on your need. So you are absolutely correct that psychologically you have to train in a way as a leader, where you can talk to the teams what's coming in the near future or the term. They can get ready for the
Absolutely.
change. Yeah, very nice. Yeah. So Sandeep, I think what I want to understand, you actually mentioned something very important in your statement, the value piece. You know, okay, sure, I want to get to cloud. I want to launch Gen AI application. I want to be the coolest guy on the street or in the Bay Area that, hey, listen, I have all these tools, I have all these technologies, I know how to build Gen AI application, RAGs, and all the cool stuff. Where is the value? How do you guys drive the conversation with the leaders on the value of this data modernization tasks?
So the value comes with the outcomes, right? And if you look at all Gen AI use cases, applications. By the way, everybody claims that they've got a massive library of 5,000 Gen AI use cases by industry. But I'll talk about two things. In terms of the value itself, it's either to improve your productivity, or it is to reduce your cost, right? Or it is to mitigate risks, reputational risk, brand risk, etc., right? And then consumer experience or customer experience, as everybody talks about some of those use cases. Now, let me give you a simple example for data modernization through this particular lens. Most of the clients grapple right now with issues like, I've got my data in multiple data places, in multiple clouds. uh, how do I understand if all of my data is usable or not? How do I make it searchable? How do I work on it? And if I have to create a Gen AI based business application that is geared towards a particular function, how do I source the data? How do I get to it? 80% of the work in any Gen AI project is still data work, right? And in order to have searchability on your data, you need data catalogs, you need metadata. To have the connective tissue of your data, you need a good master data management solution. Clients have figured out early on, they would sort of create bespoke business applications, and I think that's what created that spider chart of architectures and things like that. So as I say, AI has put a big shining light on data management and data modernization. So a client can come and say, I want to build this application. Okay, where is the data? Now find the data. Oh, I don't know where the data is. Okay, and now I need to get a data catalog. The good thing is Gen AI based applications make that task very easy as well. And I think that's how that whole process is now going. That every program, in the end, ends up becoming a data program first, and the AI Gen AI piece is relatively very simple.
Very good point. So basically, what you're saying that the moment you attach the conversation with the outcome, not the output, you can have 500 different projects running and people working on it. But as soon as you say, hey, you know what, with this effort, this is the outcome. Out can be releasing a data product faster, making business users more productive, and making them, using like low code, no code, pro code, or some kind of new way of doing things. Like Microsoft guys has done amazing job in building their whole ecosystem of the Power Center. Sorry, I think it's
Hmm.
365 applications. So what people are coming in, they're saying, hey, I want to build this finance application. I don't have to worry about it. I can just go talk to Copilot can help me to put together this application. Under the hood, sure, data platforms are there. I can use any of the data
That's
platform
right. Mhm.
options, right? So, Sandeep, I'm going to ask you a series of
Okay.
questions, and some may be a little debatable, some may not be debatable. You can choose to say yes, no, and answer those questions, because the next topic I really want to talk about is
Okay.
hyperscalers, especially AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, now Oracle Cloud. I was part of the Oracle world; they did amazing job. Um, so all these hyperscaler, all these big cloud companies, these big gorillas, they have their own way of doing things. They have their own way of doing solutioning, tooling. You go to AWS page, there are like hundreds of products listed. You can actually get lost into just the website of AWS, looking at the, and actually they have a solution for literally
That's
for
right.
everything, right? Now, when you are working on the data modernization project, or solution for your customers, how do you see the hyperscalers playing a role? And also, as part of the hyperscaler, next thing is those small product companies, right? Because every small product company is trying to build the integration with
Correct.
hyperscalers too. Give us some ideas, your thought leadership on this.
So I think first of all, pretty much all large system integrators, they have pretty strong hyperscaler based relationships, and that actually ends up benefiting the end client. So, for example, it's a dog eat dog world. Most of the hyperscalers, they provide incentives to clients to move to their ecosystem because everybody wants to increase their consumption of the services. More consumption means more revenue for the hyperscaler. So, in order to get clients who are still on on-premise applications or on-premise data estates, every hyperscaler wants that client to come bring their data estate to their cloud. And many a times these hyperscalers provide incentives to system integrators. They have incentive plans where the system integrator who is able to influence and guide the client gets a small portion of the deal size. Now, what ends up happening is many a times the system integrators reinvest that money back into the program, thereby lowering down the cost of modernization for the client, right? So, in a way, all the incentives that the system integrator receives get passed on to the client from the hyperscaler, and for the client, the total cost of ownership lowers down significantly. Um, so I think that's one way it is there. The other way is most of the hyperscalers, we personally also have hyperscaler specific solutions that we build for them, because each hyperscaler is not replaceable. Each one has its own strengths. I mean, AWS started with platform as a service, right? Google's got its own Vertex AI, and this Microsoft got Azure and OpenAI and Fabric, and I would say industry-based solutions are probably significantly in a larger capacity in AWS, whereas I would say Microsoft with healthcare is pretty popular, and so on. So every hyperscaler, there's a little bit of distinction and differentiation in terms of the capabilities they provide, the incentives they provide, and we as SIs work with them, create solutions, and bring them to the relevant clients, and that makes sense for them.
Yeah. So, Sandeep, you are responsible. You have a very diversified portfolio, responsible for over $1 billion growth of the portfolio. I want to actually talk to you to conclude this episode. I want to talk to you three topics. And imagine this, right? So you have application, and then you have a storage layer, and on top of the storage layer you have a data platforms, and then you have a infrastructure, as you were talking about AWS. When it comes to data modernization, what is your take when it comes to the application layer, data platform layer? Technologies like Snowflake, Databricks, EMR Spark, many other, Azure Data Fabric, and some others, like Confluent folks, Kafka guys, all this pieces when you put together, and then next piece is a platform. So you have a platform provides the storage has a data, then you have applications. When you have to guide your customer an end-to-end journey as part of the data modernization, how do you approach that solutioning or understanding the problem for your
Got
customer?
it. So at the end of the day, we are trying to solve three fundamental questions, Neeraj, for our clients. Where should I store my data? Where should I do my compute? And where should I do my consumption?
Yes.
Those are, at the end of the day, those are the three fundamental questions. Now, the architectures in which we help the clients are evolving. I think now, still, I think medallion architecture is all the rage. I'm sure it's going to change into some edge based architectures for data and fabric and so on. But when we assist with our clients, obviously, most of our clients already have a hybrid ecosystem, right? So their questions are, I have got my data here, I've got my data here, this cloud, that cloud, what should I do? Right? Or their questions are more around, my cost of the ecosystem is the SI, you're helping me with this particular cost optimization piece, but think about the overall ecosystem as well, right? So when we work with the clients, we look at all of these aspects around cost, around where do you need to store the data, which system is there. There are some secular trends that are happening, right, which also guide our decisions. So the first secular trend that is happening is every ISV and hyperscaler are creating horizontal capabilities. If you look at Snowflake, Snowflake came up with Snowflake Horizon, which is their data management and observability capabilities it brings to the table. Snowflake Polaris brings the catalog capabilities. They've already got Marketplace. Now they have with Cortex, they have AI/ML capabilities. So now they have got one full stack. If you look at some of the other companies like say Click on the BI space, right? Click earlier was only for BI visualizations and dashboards, but now they've got a Click data platform, Click Analytics, and Click AI. Tableau has got Tableau data prep and this, right? So pretty much every company is creating a horizontal end-to-end capability that includes from data preparation all the way to data consumption over there, which means that clients will not
Very nice.
have to go ahead and buy 10 different products, but rather they would pick one platform and try to maximize their investment across that platform. So when we go to the clients and the client says five
Yeah.
different technologies, our first thing is to say, okay, do you really need five? And can we pick one and ensure that there is maximization of capability, maximization of the utilization of those capabilities? The second secular trend that is happening is every tooling, whether it's an ISV tooling or a hyperscaler tooling, has got a Gen AI component embedded in it. So Informatica with Claire GPT is there. I think Databricks is coming up with its own Copilot, and then also BI Genie.
Yeah.
Snowflake has got its own SQL-based Copilot as well. Most of the data management tools also have got their data management Copilots, and all of them are Gen AI based. So as clients use these tools, they have to master the art of finding productivity and lowering cost and getting more done in lesser cost.
It's crazy what you just said to me because Ollie, he's the CEO of Databricks. He actually published a blog. News came out during Databricks AI Summit few months ago. If you read that TechCrunch article, in the first few lines, exactly what you said. That's exactly what he said. He said, "My customers are coming to me." Like Ollie said, that customers are coming to Databricks saying, "We want a unified solution where we don't need external parties coming in trying to help us to ingest the data or transform the data or build a Gen AI application." And when I read this very carefully, I understood what they were doing. As you mentioned, the Snowflake stack. You know me very well that I come from a very strong Databricks background. So same on the same note, like Snowflake, Databricks guys, what they have done, they have put together this Unity catalog and then unified platform. They bought Mosaic ML or Mosaic for 1.2 billion. They bought Archeon for data ingestion, and now they got Tabular to compete against the whole Polaris concept. And you know, to conclude that thought from my side, if you look at their journey, they're saying we have so they came up with a new concept called
Correct.
lake flow. They're saying as part of the Archeon, they're saying we're going to give you a lake ingestion, you ingest your data, then we're going to give you lake transformation, you transform your data, then we're going to give you lake orchestration based on Databricks workflows, you can orchestrate your data set. Now you don't even have to go out for the vector database or vector search, because we are giving you this mosaic based mosaic ML based platform or option to do your vector search, vector database, in all the features built into the platform. And on top of that, we're giving you
Correct.
Genie. The Genie is their offering on. So Sandeep, it's crazy that how all these different hyperscalers, this data platform companies, and other solutions, they're putting together everything into one platform so that you can have a turnkey solution and you can go to
That is
market
correct.
faster.
That is correct. The third big thing that's also happening is, as Gen AI and AI based applications come to the fore, new capabilities are also required in clients. So, for example, AI FinOps, AI guardrails, right?
Mhm.
I call it as a governance, privacy, and trust (GPT), right? So the clients need data management GPT as well, to get things going. And we believe that there will be a war on talent because not many people know how to get these things done effectively. So the horizontal capabilities coming together in one platform, which means that bespoke applications will cease to exist or eventually will cease to exist. Uh, Utilization of Gen AI based capabilities and tooling itself to maximize productivity and reduce cost and drive faster delivery of results. And the third thing is new capabilities. So all of these three things are there, that we help our clients with when we think about it.
Yeah, very nice. I have a serious FOMO of investing. Um, so I am watching the stocks of all the global or the GSIs, and every GSI, all the big GSIs, they are doing a really, really well on the stocks prices, because CIOs, CTOs, all these leaders, they have figured out the data modernization phase. Now they have to execute it. To execute it, going back to your point of OpEx, they need workforce, and now they are willing to spend money to bring this workforce in to execute their project. It's funny. I was watching this yesterday on Instagram. This a little video I watched. Larry Ellison, Oracle person, he said he had a dinner with Musk, Jensen, and of course Larry. They were in Palo Alto a few days ago, and he said Larry and Musk. They were literally begging Jensen that, hey man, take our money, please give us more GPUs because we need to provide this infrastructure to our customers so that they can start executing their Gen AI projects. So it's crazy where the market is
That's
going.
true. That would make for a interesting an opening line for a joke. Musk, Jensen, and Larry go to the bar.
Larry
And
Ellison.
they're like, "Where are the chips? I need the chips."
I love it, love it. So, so Sandeep, one thing which I really want to understand from you, you're a thought leader in this space, data modernization or modernization. What are the different components when it comes to modernization word itself as part of our tech world?
So many times, Neeraj, people conflate two different concepts. So there is one thing called as data modernization, and one thing which is platform modernization. So data modernization is having the data available, usable, and in a way that can drive a business application or a business capability that a client wants. So, for example, if you want omni-channel orchestration, you have your data with the necessary ability to get transferred in real time, processed in real time, decisioning being done in real time. And I think that in our mind is a data modernization. Then there is platform modernization. So I have a platform A, which is an on-premise version, and I want to go to the same platform, but on the cloud. So uh, I think simplest cases would be, say, a Databricks on-prem versus a Databricks serverless, right? Or a platform ETL platform on-premise versus the ETL platform serverless, or say a on-premise database versus a cloud database.
Yeah,
So many a times the clients do platform modernization, but the reason for doing the platform modernization is the data modernization itself, because I want to get that business capability. So sometimes data modernization and platform modernization go in hand in hand. In many cases, when there is a significant technical debt,
yeah,
clients would take platform modernization independently of data modernization as well, which is just to make sure that our systems are not at risk because they are out of date, they are not supported anymore. We see both, but in the last recent past, we have seen them go hand in hand as well.
So you're saying that clients, they can use or they may use platform modernization as an umbrella term, and under platform modernization, they may end up doing data modernization and many other things like applications and many other things.
That's correct. You could sort of reverse it as well. They might say that I want to create an omni-channel application,
Uh,
but to do that omni-channel application, I need to do data management. I need to upgrade this platform. I need to get my data from here to there, and so on. So I think it all sort of goes in together.
So, Sandeep, in your conversation with your clients, what is the nomenclature they are using as part of the bigger umbrella? Like, for example, a few years ago, we had this keyword, marketing keyword, digital transformation,
Mhm.
right? And eventually, a lot of companies failed. A lot of companies did not fail. They were able to execute. And digital modernization or digital transformation, sorry, it got some bad reputation too.
Correct.
In your conversation, what is the keyword or key term that your customers are using for the
We
projects?
just call it as modernization. Cloud modernization is the umbrella term, but within cloud modernization, it could have an undercurrent of a data modernization or a platform modernization.
Got it.
But
Okay.
more,
So,
more what they use.
so modernization is being used on that. Customers are saying, "Hey, I want to move to cloud." As part of that, because of security, many other features, I also want to do platform modernization. And as part of that, data platform applications, many other things comes into the picture.
That is correct. That is
Very
correct.
nice. All right. Sandeep, again, thank you so much for joining me on this episode. As part of the closing, anything you want to share with the audience?
I think these are great times to be in. Technology is evolving at such a rapid pace. I think when we think about clients who are doing it well, they are obviously reaping the rewards. We have also had some unfortunate stories where clients had not done it well, and I think a major airline was severely impacted during the crowd strike, and it seems like their systems were not up to the mark. I think we had seen a similar airline during Christmas travel. So I think these kind of stories bring great reputational risk for our customers who have legacy platforms, who have not modernized, are not going digital fast enough, not adopting Gen AI. And as we think about doing it right, having the right data foundation and data modernization is the key. And the good news is that there are people who can help. So seek help, and this is a great place to be in right now.
Nice. Sandeep, what's the best way to get hold
I,
of you? Is it okay if I
yes,
share your LinkedIn? Okay, awesome. So, folks, I will share Sandeep's LinkedIn into the description of this episode. Sandeep, thank you so much for doing this, and I'm very excited to have you as a friend. And hopefully, in next a few months, we will talk about some more interesting topics on Gen AI and AI.
likewise, Neeraj. Thank you for having me.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thanks.